In Crusader Kings 3, knights are a specialized troop in your army that can really change the course of the battle. Usually you're only able to field anywhere between 7 and 15 depending on different skills and other game mechanics such as buildings, prestige rank, and title. I wanted to see what it would be like to own all the lands in England and to gain as many knights as possible in that kingdom. So I booted up the game in debug mode to gain control over the land and to build a military academy in each duchy. Once I experienced the initial rush of power, the horrible realization had dawned upon me. Now I have to do the whole world. That I needed to take this experiment one step further and harness the power of the whole map. I needed to put a military academy in each and every duchy in the game, so I set about this first taking control of every single county, which, as you can imagine, is very, very time consuming. Once everything had been vassalized, I then went through and took every vassal's land away from them so that I only had mayors and city lords left. With every county under my control, I decided that next we would need to merge every culture on the map so that we could build a military academy in each duchy without having to research the necessary tech for each and every culture. Side note, the game has hidden names for some cultures, so you have to go into the localization folder and find out what the game recognizes, like some sort of wizard who hides their true name to prevent them from being enthralled by some yokel. That done, we moved on to the truly onerous task of putting a military academy in each and every one of the over 600 plus duchies in the game. At this point, the game is totally rebelling against what I've done. If I try to open some of the tabs, it instantly freezes the game and I have to reset and start from my last save, which occurs several times in this process because I keep forgetting this is my new reality. With that madness behind me, a new hurdle appears on the horizon. One that I can't believe I didn't see happening when starting this odyssey. In Crusader Kings 3, to prevent you from doing exactly what I'm doing, the game has a limit of how large your personal dominion can be. Once it passes that threshold, all the buildings in your domain become disabled until you drop below that number again. Thankfully, all was not lost because I simply needed to add a mod that would give me an infinite domain limit so that we could see our knight count skyrocket like the good ape I am. Finally, the time had come to rejoice in the utter absurdity of my experiment. I clicked on the military tab and waited to see all of the knights in here, all of the knights in here, baby. We have a little over 4,000 knights, but we can only have about 1,300 right now because the game doesn't have enough knights to fill all of our knight slots. Like most businesses in 2021, I need to go and hire some recruiters, which brings me to today's sponsor, myself. Thank you for supporting me. But all kidding aside, this gauntlet of absurdity isn't over until we have every spot filled. So I set to inviting every able-bodied male character in the game. At first, I decided to look at the great houses and invite them, but they were only able to fill a small amount of the positions. Then I started going through the list of the most powerful people. However, that was going to take too long, which gave me the idea that there would be a group of people I was overlooking. Women! As a Catholic, women aren't able to become knights, which is why I made a much cooler faith that made everyone equal opportunity knights in my army. Still, even with that, we were shorthanded. Then I turned to the power of debug mode to carry me through. I decided to make children the old-fashioned way by spawning over several thousand children. Then we did a time jump of 16 years and voila, we had all of the knights in here. Of course we had to see these people in action. After all this work I put in just to get this big old number, did one more time jump 1,200 years so that the Mongols would have the chance to spawn. Their hordes appeared on the map and begun their expansion, but unbeknownst to them, we were ready and waiting. I engaged them at the Battle of Orgro, but something strange began to happen. Almost as if the game knew I had done something nefarious, it started doing its own tricks. For some reason, the Mongolian force began to spawn more and more troops in the middle of the battle. Every time my troops took out several thousand of their army, another group would appear. This went on for several minutes until I switched to the Mongols to see if it would fix the issue. And just like that, the game stopped cheating and the knights defeated the much, much larger army. all of the knights in here, all of the knights in here, baby. Turn them about so that we can see them. All of the knights.